Tesla is gunning for $500 per share. Bitcoin is up steadily up above $100,000 per BTC. And then Nvidia, we need to take a look and see what's going on with that because the price has been dropping. Will Tesla continue to rally? Will Bitcoin continue to rally? And will Nvidia continue to drop in price from where we're at right now? We need to take a look and see exactly what's going on. And I have those charts to share with you in this video. So we'll kick things off with our friend Bitcoin. So when we look at Bitcoin, there we go, bring those charts in there. You can see most recently that we stumbled a little bit and had trouble right around the 20-day, which acted as support for us. And I said if that holds, we could see that next rally come in, and that happened so far. Talk about a Bitcoin reserve from Trump is something that really did help to continue to catalyze what was otherwise some price softening that we had for BTC. And so that really does keep some punch going at the party for crypto. And I still think that Bitcoin is going to go up to that $120,000 mark. We're not far away. We're within range that really that could happen in a single day under the right circumstances. We do want to continue to watch the RSI to see exactly what's happening with that momentum that right now is still falling off as the price continues to climb, and even some of the volumes generally tapering off right now for Bitcoin. So we could be setting up for a little bit of softness. We're going to have to watch and see that we're not necessarily getting the same ramp excitement that we got previously. And so right now with these narrow body candles that we have and somewhat tapering volume from what we have, there's a little bit less conviction in what's going on right now. So we could see a little bit of a battle going on with Bitcoin. But like I said, on this run, I still think that we're going to hit that $120,000 mark. And I think that we could potentially climb higher than that. So we could potentially push down that 20-day is that moving average to watch. Let me take down the EMAs for you so you can see it more plainly. If we do happen to lose the 20-day, watch that 50-day right around 90,000 right now. That'll continue to move up over time as the past 50 candles have been moving upward, and we're up in price right now. That should pull the 50 up with it. Certainly, I think we're going to stay up above the 200-day. I don't think we're going to touch that anytime soon unless things really go sideways with the markets and with risk assets. We'd really have to watch and see that happen. But at this point in time, I don't see a drastic collapse happening. I think that if we do pull back a little bit, especially if we touch the 50-day, I think that would be that time for that next massive climb. So we want to keep our eyes on that. And so far, that 20-day has been acting as support for us. I'll shrink that up a little bit so that you can see that even when we broke down below it, the 50 caught on to it back here. With this price, 50 is in the pink, orange is the 200, and right there, the 20-day acting as support. Support through October, and then we found support in November, and then more recently, we didn't quite get there, but then when you see that support happening early December, mid-December, and so we're still climbing off that. So that 20-day right now does seem to be where that support is happening. If that support happens to fail, then we can watch from there. I just had a cat jump back up on my lap. This guy's really been enjoying himself and taking liberty with me being in the office. I think it's the colder months. I think he enjoys the snuggling. So if you see his head pop up, well, it just does. So let's move on from there over to Nvidia. I talked in previous videos about this head and shoulders pattern, and I want to remind people that I am a long-term investor in Nvidia. I get a lot of shade when I talk about any sort of price drop happening with Nvidia or the potential for it. And I said, watch the 50-day EMA and SMA. I said, if we break down below that, we could probably fall further. We did break down through the neckline. And if we go to intraday charts, we actually did retest it as well and still stumbled in the pre-market hours. We're down around 130. If we look back historically, we actually have where this orange line is across here, we actually have some support that happens from a historical perspective right around there. If we do happen to keep falling through that for whatever reason, I think that 200-day is going to be an absolute sign that a rip is on the way. So just watching this for right now, looking for a load zone to happen. So for a place for Nvidia to rally, if it breaks back up above this neckline, 132. So find support at 130, breaks up above 132. I think that we could have that rally come in early, and then we got to get back up on top of this trend line to see that further upside. Now, mind you, we could still continue down below it, but then we have it as resistance instead of support. So that's just something to keep in mind for that one. We do want to see a trend line like this one end up as support to see the price continue to rally. If we do fall down below this, like I said, we even have more support that comes in historically. If you look back through here, right around that 115 to 117, 118 area. So that would coincide with the 200-day. And now, mind you, that 200-day also coincides with what we'd see from the top of this head and shoulders pattern down to the neckline. We could potentially have, especially with peekaboo down below it, I think we'd have a massive, massive climb from there. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. And so that's anybody's guess if that's going to happen. As a long-term investor, I like to see cheaper shares for Nvidia come along so I can scoop them up and lower my cost basis. If it does happen to fall further from here, like I said, that's just cheaper, and I do think that it's going to be a temporary thing, that we have that next big rally coming in for Nvidia, and the deeper that this thing goes, the bigger the rally is that follows it, because Nvidia is a top-notch and very solid company, one of the best in the world. And so with that question of growth coming in there from their last earnings call, especially as we really rotate into Blackwell throughout 2025, and we get more of an idea of what that landscape looks like. And I think that Rubin is the next series. I'm going to have to look and confirm that. I'm so focused on Blackwell, I forget what they call the next series. So I'm going to have to look at that again just to confirm it. But as we get into that, what do those specs look like? We really want to keep on looking for ultra low power, revolutionary low power with amazing performance on top of it, even just smashing whatever Blackwell happens to put out there. And so we do want to be watchful for that for Nvidia, what could take place. And I do think that there's a big rally coming, and the deeper we cut into this, the bigger the rally goes. So that's what I'm going into this with. Now let's wrap things up with Tesla here. For Tesla, where exactly is the top? Well, we have resistance from 246 to 268. And well, this morning in the pre-market hours, we're actually up above that anyway. So if we get a full candle, up above 468, that's a very good thing. Then we're sitting on it for support, or we have it for support. There are Fibonacci extension values up above that. About 499 is this one right here. So pretty much 500, which would give us a psychological round number resist, which, well, look what happened to 400. Man, we blew right through that one. So we had just a small hesitation around the 400 and then rocket ship up from there. And we are significantly into overbought territory at this point in time. There's probably some cooling coming for Tesla. I would have expected a little bit more of it to happen, but I'll tell you what, with these increasing volumes, even yesterday was a higher volume move than what we had back on the 11th. So we had a 6% day that day with a volume of 104 million shares traded. And then yesterday was 114. So another 10% higher in trading volumes, with us already being in overbought territory, still pushing that price up. We do want to watch and see. The higher that overbought goes, the more likely it is that we get a significant pullback from there. So if we don't keep this resistance that's up here, if we don't keep it as support, I should say, if we fall back into this area, that could signal a near-term pullback for Tesla's price, setting up for the next part of the run from there. I did say earlier on in my videos that I put out here on YouTube that a Trump won presidency would be very good for Tesla, and we're seeing that play out from the time that election was decided, that we continue to see a confluence happen with Tesla and the current outlook moving forward from there. So absolutely incredible to see that price action happen. Bitcoin, 120,000. Tesla, I think Tesla has 500 in its sights, especially if we can close up above 468. Nvidia, we'll see if the head and shoulders continues to play out, or if we make it back up above that neckline. If that neckline holds as resistance, watch out for that 200-day down below 115 to 118. If we do get that low, I think that could be a massive load zone where we actually see that next rocket ship happen, which, by the way, Nvidia hasn't touched its 200-day in a long time. The last time that Nvidia touched its 200-day takes us all the way back to January of 2023. So that's now almost 2 years ago since the last time that it touched that value. And just to put this up here before I wrap up the video for you guys, I'm going to take a look and see what that looks like, where we actually crossed over that 200-day. So let me see, stretch out a little bit more so you can see. And now, so there's the touch on the 200-day. We crossed it on the January the 13th. And I mean, just the climb that followed that, was absolutely revolutionary because of the technology that we're putting out and the AI wave that came through. There's a lot that was going for Nvidia that we just need to watch and see what happens next. And I think that troublesome, that correction period, which I think we're already in correction territory from the peak, we might have that rally coming in now. It might not make it down to the 200-day, but I do think that 200-day will be a massive opportunity for further upside. So guys, if you want to see my technicals, if you want to see my buys and sells, head on over to the Discord available through the Patreon. That link's down in the description. And if you guys want to learn to do this technical analysis trading yourself, you can do so using the link for Stockmo Academy. Use code word DOCTOR when you sign up, DOCTOR. That's going to give you a massive discount. And I'll tell you what, the bread recipe that's in that for a trading strategy, whether it's up or down movements, you pick it, you name it. Following that bread recipe tons of success from myself, for StockMo, who created it, and then also the people joining that who learn how to set it up and use it are also putting out tons of testimonials about its success, and you can get it for cheaper using that code word that I gave you, Dr. DOCTOR. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.